Sit down. The show starts now. The world according to Jesse.
Hi, I'm Brigida Santos. For our top story today, we turn to Bolivia, where the country's first indigenous president, Evo Morales, has resigned under military pressure following weeks of unrest over a disputed presidential election. An audit by the Organization of American States says it found clear manipulations of the voting system that resulted in Morales' October 20th re-election. But that audit has been disputed by the Center for Economic and Policy Research, which conducted its own statistical analysis, finding no evidence of irregularities. The OAS is perceived as being impartial because, like the United Nations, many diverse states are members. But in both organizations, the U.S. wields disproportionate influence. The OAS is headquartered in Washington, D.C., and its charter was signed in 1948 with the start of the Cold War, when a stronger security system was supposedly needed in the Western Hemisphere to meet the perceived threat of international communism. The OAS aims to encourage social, cultural, military, and economic cooperation. Jesse, this group was founded on the general acceptance of U.S. principles, so do you really think it's going to be impartial when it comes to investigating this election?
Well, Brigida, I would love to believe so. I really would. But the track record of the United States in Central and South America is atrocious. We've been interfering down there for 100 years or more, way back in the days of the United Fruit Corporation and Major General Smedley Butler. We've been interfering down there, trying to control their elections, trying to control who wins and who loses, and going back to the old Cold War and all that nonsense, the domino effect of communism. It would happen in Southeast Asia, then come up through South America into Mexico, and lo and behold, they would take over the United States. Much like the movie Red Dawn, I guess, with Patrick Swayze in it. You know, so I'd like to believe the United States would be honest in these elections, but a little thing in my head always says, since when? That would be a new important thing for us to be, honest in an election. We are the hypocrisy of honesty in elections.
All right, this next part might be a little bit confusing, so just stick with me here. Evo Morales' main opponent in this year's contested election is Carlos Mesa, the former Bolivian president whom Morales helped oust back in 2005. Back then, Mesa was forced to resign due to mass protests over his management of natural gas reserves from organizations who accused him of bowing to American corporate interests. Morales then won the presidency in a landslide election, replacing Carlos Mesa. Now, these two could not be more different. During Evo Morales' first year in office, rather than bowing to Western corporate interests, he nationalized Bolivia's natural gas industry. He's been a fierce critic of U.S. policy and says his resignation earlier this week is the result of a military coup, a violent one. All four government officials in the line of succession have also resigned, kicking off a battle to fill Bolivia's power vacuum. President Trump says Morales' departure is a win for democracy and a warning to leaders in Venezuela and Nicaragua. Leftist politicians around the world have condemned the coup, including UK Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn, Mexican Foreign Secretary Marcelo Ebrard, and U.S. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Jesse, again, considering America's long history of intervening in Latin American affairs, do you think it's going to try to play a role in selecting Bolivia's next president if it's not already doing that?
Well, Brigida, I'll say this. This would be one of the most solid bets you could ever take if they had it on the board in Las Vegas. Absolutely, yes, the United States is going to interfere in that election. We, as I said earlier, we are the hypocrites of elections. And let me go back and explain why. Here we are, all up in arms, claiming Russia interfered in our election in 2016. But the Carnegie Mellon Institute did a huge study, and I want people to listen to this. They found out from 1948 to 2010, so not even counting the last 10 years, that the United, and not counting coup d'etats either, the United States has interfered in 81 elections in, I believe, 45 different countries. So,
Shalom. Call Halal Allah Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, which means all praises to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, who you people ignorantly call God, by Hashem, in the name of Yahushua, which is the name of the only begotten Son, who you people ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Those are the true names of the Heavenly Father and Son. Plus, I'm going to give a shout out to the Akim that's pushing and spreading this word throughout the four corners of the earth, who's also uplifting the names Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. And also to the Israelite foreigners, man, woman, and child, whose bloodline traces back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers. Though you may look like the heathen nations are the nations as seen in this chart, the nations 2 on down, all the way down. Also, if your lineage, your seed line, your lineage traces back to one of these tribes through the man, and if the spirit bear witness with this word and this truth, and you can receive it, to the Israelite, foreigners out there who's who this applies to, right? It is applies to you are Israelites, though you may look like the heathen. To the few aqua, few sisters that do listen and learn, shalom. To the elect of the nation of Israel, wherever you may be scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, where this word is going out to, shalom to you as well. To you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, as you see on this chart right here, you combine, consist, and make up the 12 tribes of Israel. You are the Hebrew Israelites, the chosen people, the Most High Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. And that's you saw the video as always. That was on RT. Okay, going into how the United States, they've had control over Latin America for decades, and really America, okay, had control over the entire world, because who runs it? Esau, even self-proclaimed white man does. They're the biblical Edomites. Okay, and I'm gonna give my first scripture. Because all this is coming out on Esau now. Okay? We're in that time, man. He's been exposed. Okay? I always get this, but it's just the time we in. This is Habakkuk 1:6. For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. They are terrible and dreadful, and their judgment and their dignity shall precede themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves, and the horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far, they shall fly as the eagle that hastens to eat. And it's talking about America, because America, okay, these Edomites always use the eagle as their symbol, okay? And that verse right there goes into the military, so it's going to keep going. They shall come all for violence, their face shall sup up as the east wind, they shall gather captivity as the sand, and they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn of them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap up the dust and take it. So, let's go on that word, deride. Oops. All right, it's Shakah. It says, let me see. Let me see if I can actually get a etymology real quick. Bear with me real quick while I get the ride. I want to get a definition of it. It says basically like the same thing. It says deride, laugh in contempt, mock, ridicule, scorn by laughter. From Latin to ridicule, laughter, scorn. Okay? And that's what Esau does. He demonizes, or he sets up what they call coups or coups to overthrow a government. But also, what does he do when he overthrows one government within a country? He sets up a puppet government. That's why everybody around the world, when you see all these uproars and protests against the government, anti-government protests, you see people wanting a new government because they're finding out that these so-called leaders of their nation or country, they're just set up by America, by Esau, okay? But that's what Esau does, okay? He sets up a government, okay, to go in there and heap up all the resources, oil, gold, diamonds, what else? What else? No, weapons, lands, okay? Everything that's considered riches, okay? He heaps it up, okay? But that's what he does. That's going into Esau right there, okay? He basically covets, okay, after whoever has something that he wants, he covets after it, right? So he set up these puppet governments. This is Micah 2. He'll and he'll set up a system where the people of that country, that's what I'm about to get, okay? They're basically debt slaves, just like you see here in America, okay? Everybody's a debt slave, okay? To these elite banking families who are also Edomites, okay? To the financial elite. This is Proverbs 22:7. It says the rich, who is the rich on this side? Esau is, starting with these elite banking families, ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Okay? That's what's happening. That's why people they want out of this system, okay, that's been put in place. Okay, they want this to change. Okay? This is Micah 2:1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And that's in the power of this devil's hand to overthrow a government of another country. You heard Jesse Ventura, okay, what he said. He said America has been interfered in 81 elections in 45 countries, but have the right to say, that Russia, which I don't really care about that because it's all distractions, bread and circuses, that Russia hacked or interfered in the 2016 election and got Trump in office, which I don't care about that once again, okay? Because they're all Edomites, okay? But that's what they do. They're hypocrites. America's that hypocrite, man, okay? But this is in the power of their hand to do so, man, okay? To commit all this wickedness and continue doing what they do. The second verse. It says, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man, his house, and even a man, his heritage. And that's what's been happening. Okay? After all the overthrow of these governments, okay? Once a public government is set up, the people of that country is now under the control of the elite banking families. Okay? But they're gonna get what I'm gonna get, man. This is the third verse. Therefore, thus said the Lord, behold, against this family, and who was he talking about? The family, okay, basically the whole nation of Edom, starting with, I keep saying it, these elites of the Edom, but the whole nation of Edom, okay, because you lower level Edomites, you still benefited off the crumbs, you still benefited off, Edomite supremacy, okay, so really all of you. Do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go hastily, for this time is evil, right? And that day, one shall take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation, say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the proportion of my people, how have you removed it from me? Turn away, he have divided our fields, okay? But guess what? Like it says in scriptures, an eye for an eye, actually, this leads us back to Proverbs 22. Proverbs 22 and 8. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. So this is the time we in. Okay? Everything Esau is putting in place, everything that Esau is doing, okay? He's reaping what he sowed, man. Okay? Terrorists is going to face him on all sides, as the scriptures say. This is Isaiah 33:1. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealeth treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, actually, you know what? Let me get Habakkuk 2 again. It says, I start at 2 and 6. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? Right? And it's not long. Okay? This can't continue on. This system can't continue on. Okay? Because if it was to continue on, there will no, like the scriptures say, there will no flesh be saved, man. Right? How long? To him that laid himself with thick clay. And if you go into that, okay, that's talking about the debt. And that's what America is in. Debt. $23 trillion in debt. So you see in America just go around the world, robbing, okay, to basically sustain themselves. So shall they not, who is this talking about? It's talking about the other nations. Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee? And that's what's happening. The people are awakening. People are fighting against the system. The sedition among men is at an all-time high. It says, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land of the city, and all that dwell therein. Okay? So that's what's happening. All the remnant of the people, okay? The people are rising up against your system. Okay? And eventually, when the time comes when we enter into, they're going to come after all you Edomites. Okay? Habakkuk 2 and 9. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. And that's what you Edomites did. Okay? You stole everything you have. You didn't get that you didn't get that righteously. You stole everything. And then you lied. Okay? You've lied, put lies in place to justify how you got what you got, man. Okay? You got what you got mainly off the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's where the start of everything was. Okay? This is the 10th verse. Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people who have sinned against thy soul. Okay? Everything, all that money, all the wealth you got is blood money. Okay? It's blood money. Okay? This is Proverbs 22 and 16. He that oppresseth the poor, and who is the oppressor right now? It's Esau Edom. He's oppressing everybody. He's oppressing the earth, man. The earth in general, he's oppressing. Then they walk around like they ain't done nothing. They can do no wrong, or they've done nothing wrong. Trying to act like they buddy to buddy with you. Okay? Let me read it again. Proverbs 22 and 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich. And that's what they do. Okay? What is taxes? Taxes is basically the rich taking your money for doing nothing. Just for oppressing you. Okay? And you see people invest in these stock markets, these corporations, okay? And saying, why ain't y'all helping the poor out? That's because they're giving their money to the rich, man. They ain't worried about you average people out here. Okay? Middle class, they like to say, the middle class is gone. Okay? You just have the wealthy, then you have the just poor. Okay? Don't believe me? Look at Skid Row. Look at San Francisco. Look at the ghettos throughout America. And places that's becoming the ghettos. Okay, where originally you had these factories at. That's a prime example. Let me read it one more time. It says, Proverbs 22 and 16. He that oppresseth the poor to increase his riches, and he that giveth to the rich, shall surely come to want. And that's what's about to happen. These rich Edomites, okay, that's ruling right now, they're about to not only become okay? The target of the whole entire planet, but they're gonna come to want, okay? Just like how it said in the parable of Lazarus, was Jake, you so-called was represented Jake, you Israelites, and how he's going to beg, for some paraphrasing, to beg for mercy, so to say, but he ain't gonna get it because of what he's doing right now. Okay, he's gonna have to pay for all his atrocities, everything he's did. Okay, I always quote it, but the first shall be last. What you Edomites in society are first, and the last shall be first. And who's gonna be the last? Who was the last in this society is gonna be first? Yasharallah, Israel. Okay, and in today's society, which you would consider so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, they're going to be the next rulers. Okay, the Lord's going to put a nation of people, which is you Israelites, that's profitable over to rule the earth, starting with the elect, then the rest of the Israelites. They're gonna come back through the elect. Okay, so that's it. Just not that's the lesson. Okay, so I just want to end it with call halal la Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Shalom to the elect. If you are listening, shalom to you.